Greetings gamers, so just a little backstory. We're going to be talking about this whole YouTube censoring, how it affects my channel, and why I'm making this video. So I'm just going to put some background as Battlefield 1 beta. This is me absolutely sucking at it, although I did get in the top 2, so I was like second on the ladder, so maybe I don't suck that much. But yeah, so that's basically what going to be running in the background while we do talk about this and hash this out. So I am getting a couple of people asking me on Twitter and whatnot, does this affect me? What is happening with my channel? Am I still going to be going, etc, etc, etc? And the fact of the matter is yes, it doesn't affect me. I haven't been hit with any of this copyright, demonetization, whatever you want to call it. It hasn't affected us that I know of. I went through and checked about 3 pages and none of my videos have been demonetized. Whether or not it's just the fact that my channel is A, too small and the bot didn't even realize we exist, which would be harsh, I suppose. B, whether the fact that we just haven't made any of these topics and whether or not we've actually gone through and triggered this bot. Or C, if we're in Australia and the bot doesn't realize that Australia exists. I like the third option, or the second option. I don't necessarily like the first one. But anyway, so at the end of the day, I'm not quite sure why it hasn't affected us. It might be just the fact that I'm not using those topics and all those tags, and it hasn't triggered the bot, which is what I'm generally thinking it would be. So yeah, at the end of the day, guys, we're still making videos. It hasn't affected us. We're still getting monetized for the videos that we do upload, and for anything that does generally happen, look, it could change in the next 5 minutes, but at the moment, that's where we're standing. So why am I making this video? Well, to be honest, guys, it's because we want to stick up for other YouTubers. My 2 favorite YouTubers is Phil D and Boogie. I absolutely love those guys. I love watching Phil's news shows because obviously it does keep me up to date. And Boogie, I love Francis and I love Boogie, and I have a great meal of time for those guys. And in fact, I would love to meet them both one day at VidCon in the future sometime. I'd love to. Obviously there are other YouTubers that I like, but those 2 are the ones that are talking about this the most, and I can sort of see why. Now, Phil has come out and said that this won't affect him much because the way he set up his channel. He has got obviously the merchandise office running, or the merchandise offer running, and that's where he makes most of his money, so he will be able to keep making videos regardless of content and demonetization. Boogie, as far as I know, he has also come out and said that it won't affect him too much. He obviously still has special deals with like Loot Crate and stuff like that, so he is still planning on uploading videos. That said, you know, obviously I'd like to stick up for those guys because I say that this sucks, and I will get to that in a moment. But there is another thing I want to talk about too, and that is smaller channels. For example, myself. If a small channel like myself loses monetization, it can be enough to cripple that channel. At the moment, I don't have merchandise set up, and even if I set up merchandise, I wouldn't get anywhere near enough money to support the channel as much as I make off Avenue. Well, probably the same, but anyway. And that is where I'm going with this. Is because while it's great for YouTube to turn around and say, hey, you're talking about this topic, we don't like this topic, so we're going to remove, this is not ad friendly, we're going to remove this from monetization. It could be also hindering the next Phil DeFranco, Boogie, Drama Alert, Leafy, H3, whoever it is that is an upcoming YouTuber. We've all got to start somewhere. We've all got to start at 0 subs, and we've got to build our way up. And I wonder how many future YouTubers or future Phil DeFrancos or future Boogies or whatever it may be are actually going to get caught up with this topic or caught up with this demonetization. Now that in itself is enough to send shockwaves. That in itself is for me to sit there and say, well, hang on, that's stuffed. Because, you know, let's face it, Phil DeFranco is not going to keep making videos for the next 300 years of his life. He's not going to be around that long. Sooner or later, the baton will have to be passed to somebody else. Now, that said, who's it going to be passed to? If no one can talk about these news channels or talk about any of these subjects, who is going to be running the next Phil DeFranco show? Who is going to be running the next, or doing the next Francis? Who is going to be doing the next news or drama alert, for example. Now, whether or not you like these creators or not, it's irrelevant and it's beyond the point. The fact is that these future creators are the lifeblood of YouTube, and YouTube is killing their future lifeblood by saying, well, hang on, we don't find this as advertiser friendly, and I'm sorry, but we're not going to give you monetization. So that is one problem where I have an issue, because at the end of the day, you know, we all got to start at zero. We're all slowly working our way up. Not only that, but at the end of the day, just because someone is talking about Black Lives Matter, some sort of rape that happened on the news, or even something as innocuous as Chris Brown and his police standoff, or some war over in Syria, or whatever it may be. But, you know, what if we don't start talking about that sort of stuff? It becomes a form of self-censorship where we say, well, hang on, we don't want to talk about that because we're going to lose monetization. And at the end of the day, especially if you're the smaller news channel, then monetization is important. It is something that can help you put more money into your YouTube channel, to help advertise your YouTube channel, to help grow your YouTube channel. And if they start removing that, then at the end of the day, where's that leave YouTube? Where's that leave YouTube in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 odd years? And this is where I have another problem as well, because at the end of the day, just because you're talking about Black Lives Matter, Stanford rape, whatever it may be, doesn't necessarily mean that you are supporting it. In fact, you actually might be talking about it to raise awareness on the situation. And that in itself is doing good. It is doing the world of good by saying, well, no, hang on, look at this. This is what happened 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes ago, 3 hours ago, whatever it may be. And at the end of the day, just because you're talking about something doesn't mean that you are supporting it. And at the end of the day, some of the biggest things that have come out, WikiLeaks or Snowden or whatever it may be, you imagine if, for example, Snowden, you imagine if no one actually went through and covered what happened with Snowden, that we wouldn't know half the stuff that we know these days. Or, for example, something less controversial, WikiLeaks, or, you know, Clinton, or whatever it may be. Hillary Clinton, the email scandal. Imagine if we didn't know about that because we couldn't report on it. And at the end of the day, just because you're reporting on it doesn't mean you support it. It just simply means that you are shining light on a subject that has happened. And that's where I also come into problems too. Because at the end of the day, I worry that you self-censor yourself because of, well, hang on, we're not going to be able to make monetization. We're not going to be able to monetize this video. You know, and as people say, oh, yeah, you're a YouTuber. You sit there and you make videos for life. Oh, life is hard. Have you ever tried video editing? This video itself here is completely off the cuff with no scripts, and I've still had to go through and redo it 3 times because I've just gone completely off the point and I've almost done it again. So yeah, I'm sorry, but YouTubing is not all as easy as it seems, and there are a lot of hours spent video editing and etc, etc, etc. But guys, and that's basically where I want to leave this, is just to say, look, I am not affected by this, but that said, I don't support YouTube's choice or selection on doing this. Yeah, look, sure, if someone is going out and preaching neo-Nazi and claiming to be the next Hitler and etc, 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 fine, demonetize their videos. But someone in the case of Phil DeFranco, for example, who is shedding light on something that happened 3 years, 3 weeks, 3 days, 3 minutes ago, whatever it may be, I don't think that comes into play. And I don't think it's YouTube doing this deliberately. I do want to point that out. I do think that this is a bot who is just simply going through, saying keywords like rape and going, ah, and demonetizing. And yes, you can go through and obviously challenge it and say, oh, hang on, blah, 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 and get them to revise it. And hopefully that will then obviously bring up some of the videos. But people have already said that they've already done that, and sometimes it hasn't worked. So that's where I want to leave this, guys. It's basically shedding light on what is actually happening with this at the moment, where it does leave us. It doesn't affect us per se, but that said, you know, obviously it does affect because of the fact that I've got friends or fellow YouTubers that I do watch who couldn't necessarily stop doing videos. You know, you look at, you know, someone who's a smaller channel, and this revenue that we generate could be enough to make or break them. And I would hate to see another YouTube channel go down the drain just because of the fact that YouTube has gone through and removed monetization. And guys, that's basically where I want to leave this. Look, I will leave a link to Phil DeFranco's channel in the link below in the description, as well as Boogie's channel as well. Big shout out to all the other fellow YouTubers out there. I hope everybody is okay with the situation, and I hope we weather the storm and it all comes out for the better. Obviously, yeah, my heart goes out there, all the other YouTubers, big or small, and hopefully we'll be all fine. Apart from that, guys, look, I am going to go back to playing Battlefield 1 because just the fact that I don't want to think about this anymore, I find it a little bit depressing. So I want to go back to playing something that's fun, so I'll go back to playing that. I will be putting up a review on Battlefield 1 over the next few hours, letting you know what my thoughts are on it, so keep an eye out for that. But guys, look, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think I had a good point with all this, or do you think I was off track? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Please smack that subscribe button. Obviously lets me know how I go. Also, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, because obviously that also lets me know how I went with this video as well, and gives me an idea of what you guys like and don't like. Apart from that, guys, I will see you playing Battlefield 1. Have a great day and enjoy. I'll see you playing games. Bye.